Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. This speech I'm going to give you tonight, it was not prepared for this particular evening. And those of you who know me may see me in a totally different light to what you might expect this evening. The title of the speech was going to be 100 Years. And as you know, we are remembering. I will not use the word celebrate. I will say remember. It is 100 years since Great Britain became involved in the Great War. 3rd of August 1914, 11 o'clock UK time, 12 o'clock Central European time, Great Britain became at war with Germany. Why did we go to war? It all went back to a treaty of 1888, when we guaranteed the security of a country in Europe called Belgium. Had the Germans not invaded Belgium, we would have been under no obligation to enter the First World War at all. We probably would not have become involved had it not been this treaty to protect little Belgium. Did you watch any of the remembrances yesterday on television? They were exceptionally moving. The one from the graveyards near the Somme, when the Duke of Cambridge and the Duchess of Cambridge were there representing Britain. It was an incredibly moving ceremony. And when I say we are remembering the millions of people worldwide who died in that 4-year conflict. It'll be over by Christmas, they say. Christmas 1918 before it was over. 20 million people died worldwide, nearly 1 million British soldiers and ancillary service personnel died in that conflict. I remember the day I joined the armed services in this country, when I joined the Royal Air Force, and I was given my commission by Queen Elizabeth II, with everything that that commission entailed. Basically, I was a hired killer. That's what it said in so many words. If it came to the punch, I would be required to fight for my country, to defend my country, to die for my country if necessary. I never got to fire a shot in anger. I don't know whether that's fortunate or unfortunate. I was trained for every role imaginable as a fighter pilot. And I found myself yesterday comparing my rather staid life, I suppose, to the lives of those soldiers, not just in the trenches where there was such carnage, but also to the Royal Flying Corps, to men in string bags who showed chivalry to each other in the air. Although towards the end of the war, as technology improved and new bits of equipment were invented on the aircraft, bombing became more accurate, gunnery became more accurate, and the day of seeing that your foe was going down, you would stand up in the cockpit and salute him and turn for home. Those were gone. You would now kill the man. Given an opportunity, you would kill the man. During that conflict, we saw so many developments in warfare, stuff which had never been seen before. We had tanks, we had flamethrowers, we had tracer bullets which enabled us to kill people at night. We could see where the bullets were going by the tracer that they left behind them. Machine guns, artillery, howitzers, barbed wire. People had never heard of barbed wire before World War I, which made advances through no man's land almost impossible. Mines, gas, which would blind you. It would melt your lungs so you drowned in your own pulmonary fluid. People working in the trenches are sometimes forgotten. Queen Alexandra's Royal Army Nursing Corps served behind the lines, obviously. They lost 1,000 nurses during the course of the war. They started out with 330 nurses. At the end of the war, there were 10,400 nurses serving in various hospitals, looking after these people who were catastrophically wounded, blinded, limbless in a lot of cases. They would never work again. Most of them would never walk again. Some would never see again. Some would never hear again. So many of them suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, we would call it now. Those days it was called shell shock. To some, it was cowardice. You could be shot for cowardice. Would you shoot a man for having post-traumatic stress disorder today? I don't think so. I often thought also of the carnage in the trenches and how I would have resented it had I lost my life in what was effectively a futile battle. Had I been in one of those string aeroplanes, 1914, 15, 16, 17, 18, and it had been me against him, and he was better than me, and he killed me before I could kill him, that's it. I'd be happy with that situation. I would lay down my life for my country. It was actually a gentleman by the name of Field Marshal David Henderson who took the Royal Flying Corps to France in 1914. No relation, I'm sorry to say. I took my grandchildren to Westminster Abbey last year, and we stood by the tomb of the unknown warrior in Westminster Abbey, and I explained to them what had gone on during the two great conflicts, World War I and World War II. We stood by the grave, by the tomb, for about 5 minutes, and I just said to them, and we just bowed our heads and paid homage to those who had died for us.